I just see an incredibly beautiful parallel between this approach of design thinking and creative thinking and meditation in a way that you can slow down and zoom out, really listen to what's happening, and maybe defraud some of these beliefs and these stories that we have established.
A lot of that has to do with patience too. And Reed and I were actually talking yesterday about just how important patience was, like long-term and short-term patience. Do you feel like that was part of your story, was trying to hone that ability to be patient enough to create that space from your problems so you can see those intricate subtleties?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think patience is really important. Giving yourself time to be with yourself, with your problem, whether it's a personal problem or a work problem. And again, sitting with it as you would sit with a meditation. So, and one can definitely meditate on a problem. And that's we often say, let me think about that, let me sleep on that, whatever it is. Meditation comes in there someplace. And I think there's also there's such a big gap between a thought and materializing it in the world. Steve Jobs had a vision, and it took a few years to build a team and build the products and the hardware and all of that to actually see that come true in the world. So that's, of course, a very long kind of cycle between insight and materialization. But even in our private lives, sometimes there's a struggle we have maybe with a relationship with someone, or even a habit of our own. Maybe I want to exercise, and I sit there and I decide, okay, I'm going to exercise. It takes time to integrate that into daily living. And one of the big things with meditation that I learned early on, which I think is a super important lesson for anyone who wants to meditate, is give yourself a chance. Start with baby steps, what we call in design thinking prototype, right? Mm-hmm. Start small, right? When I started meditating, my teacher said to me, don't try sitting in lotus position in the middle of the room and meditating for 2 hours every morning now that you've understood the principle. Why don't you try, 12 minutes every morning? When you wake up in the morning, sit back in your bed, sit comfortably, sit upright, but if your body doesn't allow that to do comfortably, you can lean up against the wall and just sit for 12 minutes quietly. And do that for a few weeks and see how that feels. When you feel comfortable with that, go for 17 minutes. It's that place of having also patience with ourselves, which is really important, because I know so many people who've gone to Vipassana, retreats or things like that, and have come home so enthusiastic. And they started every morning waking up at 5 o'clock and doing an hour of meditation, and it went great for about 5 days. And then something broke, and then the baby woke up, so they couldn't do it that 6th day. And after a couple of weeks, one develops like almost kind of inner cynicism and a skepticism that, I'll probably never be able to do this. And then we give up. Mm-hmm. So that plays back to Sean, your discussion of patience. It's such an integral part of the entire process of meditation, but also of creativity. Have patience with yourself. I know you really want to come up with the greatest idea today, but if you sleep on it, if you sit with it, if you let it, flow by you without judgment, the idea will come. It's okay. Just take a deep breath and relax.
Meditation has taught me so much patience. I find myself when there's a decision that I need to make and I can feel it, that I haven't made that decision. I used to rush, pick a decision and hope it was the right one. I found now that I wait I can feel when the decision is not ready to be made yet, and I just sit on it, and my subconscious eats away at it while I'm doing, I won't even think about it for a day or two, but my subconscious is just chipping away at it. And all of a sudden, when I come revisit it, a day later, 2 days later, it's so clear to me. You know what? This is the right decision. And I never would have had that clarity in that moment. It was the patience, the space that created, and allowing my subconscious to settle in and do some really beautiful work that allows me to reach decisions with a lot of clarity and in a lot of alignment with my true self.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Many people who know what you just mentioned, Sean, about letting the unconscious mind work on certain things, they intentionally distract their mind. So they might go on a run, or they might, I play saxophone, so I might go and pick up and play scales for 30 minutes. Or people paint, or there are all these behaviors that we engage in to get our conscious mind to stay away and give the unconscious mind the peace and quiet to work away on that problem. So very much a really useful way to deal with that.
Yeah, and it comes back to our tendency to just want to solve problems immediately. Like we're just built for it. We see a problem and we want to, attack it full force. I edit tons of videos, and I used to, if I was ever behind on a deadline, I'd have to rush edit a video. And I realized that, 3 days after I submitted the video, I'll look at it again, and there's so many clear edits that I just didn't see because I was in way too deep. And those 3 days of pulling back showed me all these beautiful adjustments that I could have made had I had the space. And so knowing that now, when I edit, I purposely give myself extra time, and I just take these little steps, and then I pull away. And I've applied that to other aspects of my life too, even like when in conflict with somebody close to me. It's on your mind. I think we all go through that anxiety where it's hard to release yourself from this conflict you're dealing with someone you love or someone close to you. You're trying to work towards a resolution, and it seems to be dominating your headspace. But I found that really being disciplined and not letting myself chase those thoughts, and like you said, saxophone, going on a run, but like sometimes actively not letting myself go there, when I disconnect and I come back to it, I can feel the progress that was made in that absence. It's actually so simple and so beautiful.
Yeah, and most psychological theories you look into always talk about the conscious mind being really the tip of the iceberg. So much more going on under the surface, that enabling that, again, is part of sitting quietly in meditation and quieting the chatter of the conscious mind in order to allow that more expansive mind to come into play.